Bright, sunshiny day. How about that? Hello? Anyone out there? Good morning. Thank you. So if you guys would stand up, we would love for you to sing that song with us. I can see clearly now, so we'll have lyrics up and we're ready to go. You can dance a little too. Yeah. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Yes, I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Here comes the bridge. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue skies. All right. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. One more time. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. You can do jazz hands at the end if you like. Yeah! Now, you cannot be upset after singing that song, right? Everybody feel good? All right.
Next to you and say, good morning. Give your name, get names. Take somebody to lunch. Right. Date. Get married if you're not married yet. Right. Right. While you're sitting down now, please turn the volume off on your cell phone. You can leave your cell phone on. You can photograph some of the PowerPoints if you want to, or call somebody and let them know where you are right now. That's fine. Just don't want any interference with this beautiful service you're about to experience. And I want to say welcome to all of our Spanish-speaking friends who are joining us for this service, and to our live streamers. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate having your energy joining us here. Is there anybody here from another Unity? Oh, yes. Okay. What Unity are you from? Colorado Springs, okay. Well, you won't be going back there after this. So just get yourself an apartment in Boulder, because it's great here. We got great service coming up. Anybody else from another Unity? Oh yes, what are you from? Columbine, okay. Well, welcome down from up above. Welcome here. We enjoy having your energy. Join us in this beautiful service. Okay. Is there anybody here for the first time? Oh, we've got a number of people here for the first time. Leave your hands up. Our ushers are going to come down and give you a gift. This is fantastic. It's a brand new Porsche, convertible. The keys are in the envelope. This is the way we treat our people here. That's why we know you always come back. All right. Okay, how many people are here because they want to learn something new today? All right, you people might as well just go over to the Methodist Church. Not really, you're going to learn something new, but I'll give you something new that one of the enlightened ladies in our congregation shared with me at the break. How many of you know where the phrase abracadabra comes from? Not many, but you heard it all the time when magicians use it, right? It's Aramaic, and it means, I create as I speak. And it's a totally Unity statement. I create as I speak. All right, and you're going to get a lot more beautiful new information as Syntysche shares the beauty of her soul.
So this song is, we did this one last week and loved it so much, we're doing it again. If you hear a part that you like and you can sing that, just pick it because it kind of goes around and around. So we invite you to sing with us, and we invite you to open up and prepare for the message.
Come to me. All right, I'm on. Hey, there I am. Okay. If you were here last week, I said at the end of that song, we have to start again with that song. I just want to start every service that I ever do with that song. I mean, if we heard that affirmation every single day just playing it. Spirit. I can just feel it's one of these days. I've felt that since this morning. But my dad's always here to help me, so that's good. It's good to have dads. Okay. Probably one of the oldest stands that's ever existed. That thing's been around since the last church. You know, maybe we need to invest in another one.
We can't give this away.
Oh, I know. Okay. All right. Anywho, so ready to receive love. So I don't know if you saw the screen about my sermon today and what the title is, but just throw that out because this sermon has nothing to do with that. So this is all part of the divine plan, which was my entire sermon was going to be completely deleted and disappeared through the evening, and I was going to wake up this morning and have to discover what the sermon was supposed to be today. And that happens sometimes. It wasn't that it was deleted from my computer, it was being undone all through my sleep last night. I was being shown what was actually being called of my service. Thank you.
This is fun.
Yes, isn't it? Okay. And it was because I was inspired by something that happened yesterday, and I felt that it needed to be, the attention had to go on that instead of what I was going to be speaking about today. So, there's a great little quote. Einstein says, you can live in two worlds, either nothing is a miracle or everything is a miracle. And that is a choice. It all has to do with our perception and how we want to perceive the world. And in spiritual economics, so I want to actually talk about this for one more second, though. Even though my sermon disappeared last night, that's also a miracle, right? Like I was kind of talking about that last week, where there's really nothing that happens that isn't holy. Even the difficult stuff is also holy. So something that came into my life yesterday seemed like it'd be more important to share than what was actually created through the week. But did that create enormous amount of pressure on me? Yes, it did. You know what I mean? Like this morning I felt like the rug was pulled out from underneath me, but I knew this is also in divine order. And that's kind of how Spirit works. It's not trying to punish us, but unfortunately we are here conduits of Spirit, and what is being called to be shared in this world isn't necessarily always given to us in our timing. Divine timing is very different than ours. So today was, you're going to write a sermon in 2 hours instead of in a week, right? But it says this, oh wait, these are old slides. These are not them. Okay, there it is. Please help me. Spiritual economics, it says it this way. Life's inmost secret is the divine pattern in you, which you can only really know when you are giving yourself in service. You can work for money and prestige and climb to the pinnacle of success and still not know yourself, thus seeking other avenues of escape. All this is because your work does not satisfy you, and the reason it does not satisfy you is that you are not satisfied with or fulfilled in yourself. However, when you are intimate with life's secret, your work becomes your calling. The word vocation comes from the Latin meaning I call. Begin to think of your work as a calling. This is where my sermon changed yesterday. So I had the honor to do a memorial service for a woman that had a huge impact for our area. And her name was Kathy Coyne. And she began her biggest professional project in 1980 here in Boulder called Community Food Share. Who doesn't know who she is? Community Food Share. If you've lived in Boulder for longer than 5 years, you've got to know who Community Food Share is, or you haven't given food to it. Which is, like, who doesn't know? Okay. So, hunger was an issue that existed under the radar of many in Boulder County, but Kathy Coyne was tireless about sounding the alarm, and after only 6 months of existence, Community Food Share managed to distribute 48,000 pounds of food by working with 18 separate agencies and organizations. It only grew from there. By the late 1990s, CFS employed 11 people and cultivated over 2,000 volunteers. Over 1.3 million pounds of food was donated annually, enough that it took over 100 different groups to get it to the people who needed it. Kathy was recognized nationally for her work by different community organizations. But the most important thing is that she was humble, and she did not want to be noticed for all her good work. This is a woman that stood behind the scenes and just orchestrated people for service. And we've been taking food, collecting food for Food Share for over 20 years at the Thanksgiving season. Our YOU, our Youth of Unity, oversees that, and we make sure that there's food for the Boulder community for Thanksgiving. And to be able to sit in the presence of the type of people that came to witness her memorial service was like standing in the presence of Christ consciousness. These are the people that serve this town, that make sure that that food gets to every person that needs it. These are the people that received that love from them. So I'm ready to receive love. I think about all the people that are sitting out here that received that love, and they sat in here to recognize this powerful woman that understood that she was here to make a difference in a lifetime. It was never about her. It was about serving. Her friendships, they said she was friends with everyone. And there was no one that she ever didn't notice and ever let fall off the radar. Everybody was her family. And every photograph that you saw were people that were in need. And her love and compassion, this was like the Boulder Mother Teresa of our area. And yet, she never went to church. She didn't even consider herself a spiritual person. But we know in Unity, our core value, and at the core value of all religions and all of the spiritual paths, is to treat our neighbor as ourself, to serve one another. And she, at the core of who she was, demonstrated that greater than maybe any of the people I've ever met. And she didn't need that in the name of God. She understood that she was the brethren of all the least, the people that are poor, the people that are struggling, that she had the ability to bring people together to want to take care of everyone. So, we always have to affirm that there's more than enough to go around, right? So we do have to take care of what we need to provide for our families and to do the things that we need to do to take care of our personal experiences and have even an abundant life, because it's an opulent universe that has enough for everyone. But especially at times like this time of year or any time of year, we should always be aware that there are people that have less than us. And it's in serving others that we truly receive. If we keep taking from this energy and trying to receive, like we don't feel like we're quite making enough to get by, or we can't barely pay the electric bill, or we're struggling to meet certain of the demands of life's, just outer things that we need to survive, then we have to look back at what is it that we're giving to that energy to be able to fulfill that which is needed for our personal experiences. People say, I just don't have any time to give back because I'm, working 2 jobs and I have 2 children at home, and I understand that, and I have that experience in life. And yet, I always know when I get out of my intellect that I don't have enough to give, and I give, it brings in all of the blessings that I've been looking for. When I'm tithing and I'm worried about my finances, the tithing opens up the gates and the vacuum is created for more to come into my life. I'm giving away in faith to understand that I will also be taken care of. But the thing is that we usually think, well, I just don't have enough at this time, so this is not the time. This is the time you go into your cabinets. There's always green beans, there's always corn, there's always something to be finding any barrel. We have barrels in the lobby every single week for different. Right now we're doing Pantry of Hope, which is right down the way here, that we're raising food for, and diapers and all sorts of stuff. There's a list out there, so we can provide for that. In about a week, we're going to start the Colorado Food Share. But in order for us to understand that, we have to affirm that there's more than enough. We don't affirm it for our personal selves. We affirm it for everyone. Just in that consciousness, we're recognizing that we're part of the totality of what God put us here to be. That's what touched me yesterday. The amount of serving people, everybody that was sitting here, recognizing what this woman did, we're all towers of powers in this community doing similar stuff in bigger and even better ways. Because they were all put here to be of service, and to listen to them for an hour was just awe-inspiring. My little stinky talk was not going to cut it after listening to these people speak. And it was a decent talk, but it wasn't. I'm ready to receive, I believe.
When we're laying on our deathbed, you're not going to worry about how much money you had, how much power you had, how much prestige. You're going to see that that was all game, that that was all an illusion. The only thing that's going to matter is the impact you had on other people's lives.
We are all on a separate journey. But the beautiful thing about our life here on this earth is at my funeral, they ain't going to talk about my success. They're going to talk about who Nick was and how Nick lived and how Nick loved and encouraged.
Success is incredibly important, but even more important than success, it's having an impact. It's knowing you haven't walked the planet in vain. It's knowing that because you've been here, you've blessed lives, you've developed people, and you have made the world a better place.
The effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. Everything you gain in life will rot and fall apart, and all that will be left of you is what was in your heart.
Life is a mirror, and life gives us not what we want. Life gives us who we are. When you were born, you cried while the world rejoiced. Live your life in such a way that when you die, the world cries while you rejoice.
The act of blessing and giving thanks for everything and everyone. The classical example of this principle is the gospel account of Jesus dealing with 5,000 hungry people. The disciples reported that the only provision they could find at hand was one boy's lunch consisting of 5 loaves and 2 fishes, obviously inadequate to meet the need. Jesus, starting with what they had, took the boy's lunch in his hands and looked up to the heavens. in Luke 9:16 and gave thanks. This was not reaching up to God, for he had once clearly said that the kingdom of heaven is within you. He was turning away from the appearance of lack and getting the view from the top. Again, he was not giving thanks for the inadequate lunch. No, he was giving thanks from the elevated consciousness or the presence of abundance, as was visually suggested by the loaves and fishes. There wasn't enough bread, but there was enough substance, for the whole of God's substance is present in its entirety at every point in space. But how quickly we forget that. That it was quite the demonstration that was shown to us through the Bible. That we can say thank you for things that have not been manifested before. We can say thank you for the things that they're already coming and we understand that it's already here. But our tendency is to wait till we say it appears that we will say thank you for it. And what you are doing is you're blocking that that's even a possibility then. You're believing that there is lack in this world, and you'll see if this time you're going to get lucky as sufficient supply will appear in your life. And one of the greatest ways to get out of your way is to give something away. To give something away of value, not your old DVD or your old VCR tapes. That's something that comes to us all the time as donations. That costs us money to throw them away, just like they do for you. I'm talking about clothing and jackets and things that are really important, because we do the Native American drive that's coming up too. To really give of something that you really are attached to and you know will be a gift for somebody in need. And watch where any area of your life that might be difficult, like your marriage or your job or your finances or your children, start to clean up the more you start trying to consider what you can give to others. Because it is in giving that we receive. That is the honorable, that is the law of attraction. It's in giving and we receive. It's in who we are is what we get back. In what we say is what's going to come back. What we're holding in consciousness is what comes back to us. Today we have incredible masters in our church that have put on a breakfast for us that got here very, very early to make a beautiful breakfast for us to all have after the service today. So I hope you'll take part. And they did that as a fundraiser to take care of Unity. And they didn't have to get up early on a Sunday morning. I'm sure you guys even think that 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock is early. Well, they were here a lot sooner than that in the mix, and they all work jobs. But they should have been, if you saw the laughter and the camaraderie between them, you understand how service feels amazing. To watch that they're a unit, they're a family over there creating this wonderful experience for all of us to enjoy. And boy, you know that food is going to nurture us because what has been given into it. Yeah, we could go to our favorite restaurant after this, or we could give ourselves to this center, take care of its finances, and also receive this beautiful food that has been blessed. All right, I need the Charles Fillmore slide. There it is, okay. Charles Fillmore had a distinct way of metaphysically interpreting the creation stories in the book of Genesis. In his book, Mysteries of Genesis, Fillmore interpreted the first creation story found in Genesis 1 to mean that the creative process begins first in consciousness and includes a balance of both thinking and feeling natures. It takes place entirely in mind. His interpretation of the second creation story found in Genesis 2 is that we take an idea in consciousness and clothe it in form. Humankind is the offspring of God, made in the image and likeness of divine mind. Humankind must express itself under the laws of this great creative mind. The law of manifestation for humankind is the law of thought. God ideates, humankind thinks. One is the completion of the other in mind. Charles Fillmore, being the co-founder of Unity, is saying that there is a process for manifestation. And there are many processes for manifestation, and we teach all sorts of amazing prosperity classes here. In fact, we have one starting, I think, in about a week or two on Tuesday nights, and it's going to be taught by Steve Anderson. And I'm going to be sharing something that he's going to be sharing with our church in just a few minutes, but I hope you'll take his class. It'll be very, very informative. But this idea that the law of attraction for like humankind is the law of thought. So let's bring to mind right now an area of our life that you don't feel is necessarily going well. You pick it out of the sky, something that you came in that troubled you a little bit, and recognize what it is that you're holding in your mind's eye about it. Because we can always change what we're holding in our mind's eye about a certain situation. So when I was, young, my mom would always say, you can just hold something different in your mind about that friend that you're having a difficult time with. You can see them not, being nitpicky and upsetting you or whatever. See them as the best version of themselves in your head before you go play with them. Like as a little kid, it was like, see her when she's the funniest, silliest version of herself before you show up for that play date. And every time I did that, I would see my favorite part of that friend. And yet, that had a deep impact on my whole life with marriage and having children. Whenever I see those little downtrodden moments where your children really don't look happy or you're working with someone and they don't look happy, I just have to change what I'm holding. I don't have to believe how unhappy they look. That I'm also a co-creator of God, and I can actually breathe beauty into their lives by seeing something even different for them, not just me. So listen to that. So this is that blessings and thanks. We can bless one another and we can give thanks to the universe. But there's so many things we can do to open up the blocks and the lacks and the limitations that keep us from receiving that which is being called in any relationship, any opportunity, and anything. Right? So in our prosperity, one of the prosperity classes I teach, the very first exercise out the gate is to come up with people that bother you, that upset you. And for the full week, all they do is whenever that person comes up in their mind's eye, they bless them. They bless them. And that's a really hard thing to do for people to work with, like maybe an ex-husband or an ex-wife that's holding children, hostage from them, and all the difficult stuff that happens in life. And it's hard to pass our own ego when we're really upset with people to bless them when they have done, as far as we're concerned, bad things to us. But to start the process of blessing someone is to make something holy. Underneath it, it's creating a bubble of holiness, which is actually keeping that negativity from you. So not only are you blessing their life, but that ripple effect blesses your life. So think about that. So I've had many, many people, this is their favorite thing that I teach in my classes. That's the thing that they've taken the very most with them, is whenever they feel an upset towards somebody, and they really practice that for a week, and eventually it'll just become your thing. Wow, I'm really upset with this person. I need to let this go, because it's hurting you more than it's hurting the person that you're upset with. We're keeping ourselves cut off from God because we're holding a judgment. And to be able to at least do something with that blocked energy is a powerful thing to be able to do, which is to bless them, In the Bhagavad Gita, an old story illumines this meaning with the highest ideal of Hinduism. A sage seated beside the Ganges notices a scorpion that has fallen into the water. He reaches down and rescues it, only to be stung. Sometime later, he looks down and sees the scorpion thrashing about in the water again. Once more, he reaches down to rescue it, and once more, he is stung. A bystander observing all this exclaims, "Holy One, why do you keep doing that? Don't you see that that wretched creature will only sting you in return?" "Of course," the sage replied, "it is the dharma of a scorpion to sting, but it is the dharma of a human being to save." On a larger scale, dharma means the essential order of things, and integrity and harmony in the universe, and the affairs of life that cannot be disturbed without courting chaos. So that's just the order of life. It's like for us to think that there's not going to be chaos, or we think that it's going to just get easy because we meditate every day, or we think it's just going to get to be Shangri-La at some point because we're doing this practice. It's going to get easier. The ebbs and flows won't be peaks and hollows. You'll be more like this. But the meditation and all that is really keeping you in the eye of the storm and not attaching to the disturbances of the world, because they're always going to be there. It's about finding the idea and knowing that we can have peace regardless of what's happening outside of ourselves. And we still help that thing that keeps stinging us. That can be that child that's really difficult for you. That can be the spouse that can be difficult for you. That could be your boss. But you still keep showing compassion. You still keep showing up. You still keep blessing even though they keep stinging you. So it's like that fool me once thing, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. That's not really how it works. That's ego. No, I keep trying to help you. I still keep trying, blessing, seeing you differently, helping you be. Sometimes we have to make some more distance, but we still have to find the forgiveness and find that place of spirituality and connection in all of it. There is an ancient Sanskrit epigram, nonviolence, universal love for all living creatures. For every kind of violence is a violation of Dharma, the fundamental law of the unit of life. Thus, every act or thought has consequences, which themselves will have consequences. Life is the most intricate web of interconnections. This is the law of karma, one of the most important and least understood ideas in ancient Indian thought. Karma is repeated so often in the Gita that I want to illustrate it in some detail. Some intuitive sense of karma is an organic law that Krishna teaches a good deal clearer. Literally, the Sanskrit karma means something that is done. Often it can be translated as deed or action. The law of karma states simply that every event is both cause and an effect. And if you really, really recognize that every single event is cause and effect, you won't walk around on autopilot as much. You'll be much more in your conscious mind, heart, soul, when we interact with others, when we have perceptions of others, when we judge others, that there is a ripple that actually stays out there. There's recording out there. The recorders, that which we are, and it comes back to us. Not by way of some evil God that brings it back to us, but they refer to karma as memory. Our soul remembers when we do things wrong. And sometimes it won't bring it back up this lifetime, but our memory of other lifetimes sometimes finds us this lifetime, and we wonder why we have such a hard time finding a relationship this time, or we wonder why we can't financially take care of ourselves. But once we can recognize the memory, then we can heal it. We no longer have to have these missteps this lifetime. Once you realize, wow, this pattern has happened and happened and happened and happened, what am I still harboring in me that I have not blessed? That I have not forgiven, that I have not changed my perception of, from difficulty to harmony? What have I been avoiding within myself that has to be birthed for me to do greater in this world? So this idea that we still have to step into things that are not as easy, like the scorpion. It falls in front of us. If you see a snake that falls in the water, do you really want to grab it out of the water? But what do you think God wants us to do? No. You don't want to grab it out of the water? Leave the scorpions alone. Shad will actually tell you that leave him alone, because he got stung actually in Las Vegas. And that is a no-joke situation, but you guys get the point, I think. It's the people that sting us, It's It's the catty, it's the people that are still caught up of the human experience, but that believe that it's that dog-eat-dog world. It's the things where we think we can step on people to get ahead, that kind of vibe, where we get spiritual discernment. We understand how to bring peace to relationships we don't believe can change, and yet we can. We have a lot more power than you can ever imagine. So I'm going to move on to another topic. This is a topic that, this is a process that we have been going through as a staff at Unity and our head of the volunteer departments. And it's a process of building this church back up where these pews are full again. And we want you to help us in that consciousness. All right, so this could be a nice little service project for you to help Unity this year and really bring in your consciousness, because we know we can only bring from what's within us and put it out into the universe. But if we had all of your help, what a difference that could make. So when you're doing, and you can use these tools that we're going to give you right now for your own life. So you can use the exact same process that this GAB thing is going to teach you. And you can write it out for yourself. But if you write it out for Unity, we're going to have a GAB wall. And I'm going to show you what GAB is. What are you gabbing about daily? G equals gratitude, the foundation of the system. A equals affirmation, the connection to our I am. B equals belief, being present in our new vision. GAB, gratitude, affirmation, belief. In Unity, we learn that the thoughts and beliefs we hold create our reality and experience. GAB is a tool to help us consciously look at what we are speaking into reality. So, we have ministers' meetings every Tuesday, and these booklets, the booklet looks like this, and I actually have these on the tables for you guys to discuss with each other during the breakfast this morning, where you can start to gab, positive gabbing. And when you recognize that people aren't doing positive gabbing, like, well, the church looks really empty today, we call people on that, go, wow, is that positive gabbing? So we really heighten that connection to the universe. So we hold each other accountable to be blessing Unity of Boulder, so that it can be here for our children and for our grandchildren, that this message can be here as the world is in more tribulation than ever, that there's a safe place for them to come and have a spiritual connection with God. And so the process is having an inspired idea, looking at what you love about this spiritual center, and writing a mission statement or something that you'd like to share about Unity. And then we'll put it on this tree of life in the lobby that people can read, and we all can pick one every time we walk in and hold somebody else's vision of what this center has done for you personally, what has been the beauty. And when an usher overhears you doing a good gab, because we all like a reward. Where's my reward? Oh, here it is. Nope. You get a certificate of Master Gabber. So just to know that when you're coming in, your ushers, when they're talking with you, are recognizing what you're bringing. And you get to recognize what other people are bringing when you're volunteering in the Sunday school and in the kitchen. And it's not here to be critical on one another. We're here to help each other raise our consciousness and hold a higher state of consciousness. Because this is the thing that I can explain to you that a lot of you don't understand, is that our congregation has not dwindled, by the way. You don't know how many people are watching the live stream. This is just a different time of what's sitting in these seats versus who's watching in other departments, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. All of our people are here, they're just not coming into the physical building. So we had a great idea to talk to our live streamers about, and to remind all of your friends that attend our center that on December 8th, we're going to have a reunion here, so that you can actually see who actually does attend this church, and watch how packed this place is. And then we can hold that consciousness of limitless abundance in this world. And we all want to see you too. We miss you physically being together and connecting spiritually. So I hope that you'll enjoy this packet and have a lot of fun with it out there. And if you need a copy of it and there's not any more, you can go to the office and Heather can give you another. But we're going to go into meditation just for a few minutes and just do a little gabbing work for our personal lives and call some beauty. I just need Larry real quick. Just close your eyes and get in the presence. Just kind of reflect on the talk that you experienced and what stood out to you today. And let's just find a place where we can have a gratitude thought in our mind's eye. What are you the most grateful for in your life? Why are you so grateful for this area of your life? And really, take your hands in your heart and feel what that feels like, to feel that gratitude for this one area of your life that completes you, makes you happy, makes you soar, makes you want to wake up every day. Just breathe into that. So now from this presence, just witness something outside in your life that is difficult for you at this time. But only see it from this very deeply beautiful state of gratitude where you're sitting, and observe it through that powerful consciousness of gratitude. And see if you can see something in this situation that's disturbing your life. Did you learn anything today in this service that you could bring to it? Could you see the situation differently? Could you say something different about it? A more abundant, more gratitude statement around it? Or could you visualize something different around it? And ask that difficult thing to come join you in all this gratitude and to sit next to you. And see if the gratitude, like a ripple, could come out of your heart and start to move forward 5-10 feet and start to radiate out around in a circle beyond your body. This gratitude, this love, all the way around till the two sides can meet you. And it's grabbed the difficult thing and it's radiating in this healing love and this gratitude. And so now there's this circle of radiating love going in, out, all the way around, holding the hard thing and seeing it being relieved and released and dissolved. There's nothing to be afraid of here, because nothing can ever hurt us, make us afraid, or make us sick. Because divine love blesses every aspect of our lives. And we know that the universe is honorable and that every challenge is just an opportunity for the veil between us and spirit to thin. It thins and it thins until we can have that direct contact with this greater love. This greater love to divinely direct and divinely connect us to that which is being called in every single circumstance of our life. we give thanks for this in the name and the power of the living Christ within each and every one of us. Amen.
We will take an offering for Unity now. As we're preparing to do that, I need to put a call out to we need a couple or 3 contractors, people that know something about dropped ceilings. We had a rental about a week ago, and they hung some heavy speakers on our drop ceiling in one of our main rooms downstairs and managed to pull down a quarter of the ceiling. They didn't hang it on the beams. They just hung it on the ceiling, and it all came down. Now we have to have someone that knows something about putting the drop ceilings back up in some way. And if you have any experience in that, we'd appreciate you helping us out to get that accomplished. And so now we're going to take our offerings, and in doing that, we are going to realize how blessed we are and all of the abundance that we have in our lives. And so when we give from the spirit of gratitude. We are so blessed, and it's unfortunate for us in our Western culture that we take so much for granted. We have such rich, wonderful lives, and there's so many areas where we could improve the lives of others, and we can give and bring forth a lot more harmony, healing, and a lot more love in our own nation. So as we take our offerings in our hands, let's let that gratitude flow into that offering with these words. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive because I give. We'll take that again. Let's take it together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive because I give.
So this song was written by none other than Joel Plimmer on piano here. So I'm excited. We're so blessed to have such amazing musicians in this church.
Birthday boy.
I was lying face down in the middle of the pouring rain. I needed something I couldn't give. Writing notes in bottles, trying to get rescue from the pain. Trying to save my sinking ship. Then one by one, you cracked them open. You read each line, how my life was broken. Looking in the mirror, trying to make things right. Just searching for an answer to try to get through the night. Then one by one, you start the healing. Those dark clouds can't rain away this feeling when you bring them to the sun. One by one. Now the seas are calmer. I guess the storm is past. You changed my course so I could see. You're the wind in my sail, the strength that holds my life. You're the light inside of me. Now one by one, like Zuzu's petals. say, take your life and turn